Okay, then, I greet you one more time. Welcome to Homo Politicus on Enterprise TV here in Lagos. And of course, the big idea is simple: to interrogate the issues thrown up by contemporary Nigeria, just so you know. Today, food crisis, customs knee-jerk intervention to distribute seized food items nationwide. You know, the idiom, a knee-jerk reaction, means to respond to a situation in an equally unthinking way, more like saying that the reaction is automatic. If you have not already heard, the news is that the Nigeria Customs Service says it is working to distribute some seized food items nationwide as the biting food crisis continues in the country. Now, according to the National Public Relations Head of the Customs Service, Abdullahi Maiwada, the said items would be distributed after they are certified fit for human consumption. Crises and hardships, when they occur, have at least the advantage of forcing us to think. But thinking right in this connection is a very tall order. In critical thinking, an analysis of available facts, evidence, observations, and available arguments all contribute to form a judgment. Is the Nigeria Customs Service right on this? Are there other untapped decisions we have not explored? Let's have a conversation. My two discussants are, interestingly, chartered accountants, and so we are chartering their know-how on the subject matter. Meet Akin Fatunke. He's also a national affairs commentator. Akin, I greet you.
Thank you very much, Citizen Jones. Nice to be here.
And we have a Sheson.
Good afternoon.
Sheson Okwade. I'm sorry about that. Sheson Okwade is also a commentator on national issues. I greet you.
Good afternoon, Citizen June, and to all our viewers. Great to be here this afternoon.
Gentlemen, food crisis is upon us. So the Nigeria Customs Service says it wants to distribute seized food items nationwide after, of course, confirming it is fit for human consumption. How do you react to this?
Yeah, thank you very much, Citizen Jones. I read the news and I was first caught abased. The duty of custom vis-a-vis distribution of foods. But maybe I'll come from the perspective of a finance person who bothers much on data. If these goods or this food were seized from certain set of people for reason being referred to as illegal movement to illegal area, not following the right protocol, the question is, who are the people you are distributing it to? Are you taking it back to where those foods were actually cultivated? Or you are taking it to the prime area where you can actually alleviate more burden of the elites? Because the food definitely will not be shared.
For that matter, how do you determine who is a needy fellow?
Of course.
At a time like this.
That is the area. And that's what I'm saying. Are you taking it back to where those foods were actually, moved out from? Or is something you want to spread around? And it will always take us back to what I have actually been picking on, issue of database. Even if custom decide to do this, you must have a back road to say, these are indeed the people that we feel needs this food. I've always been saying, while we're growing up, we know three cadres of level that you can attribute to human being. The elites, the middle class, and the poor. But as we speak, we have the elites. The middle class has been collapsed, so we have the poor and the poor of the poor. So who are you satisfying? Is it the poor or the poor of the poor? And where is the database to substantiate this in the current situation where we've found ourselves? So for me, it's as good as the story I heard from a friend last week saying before now, there is this community social responsibility by the churches. You know, we gather maybe quarterly,
CSR, they call
every
it.
month. They will say, okay, those of you are brothers that have this, bring clothes, bring foodstuffs so that we can share to people during evangelism.
That's it.
The story now is that the members are saying, sir, you don't need to invite people to come and benefit. We, the church member, needs that food that you want to share
We have enough poor people.
in the church. But before now, it used to be, let's put it together and give to outsiders to win them to Christ.
Yeah.
But now is we don't need to win them to God. Those of us that are in the folds need the food. So that's where I will be addressing it. That what is the yardstick of distributing the food, if indeed it's confirmed consumable by the citizen? We don't have the yardstick because the crop of people you might feel don't need the food as we speak are in need of it, and they are actually cramped. So even if you have a database before now, it has changed because we've seen a lot of people actually nosediving into poverty than we ever had it before now.
Aki Sheson is not speaking for you.
Sheson has spoken. He's a chartered accountant, and I like the way you introduced us as chartered accountants. Even within my profession, we are shifting paradigms. We must scatter. Okay? Chartered to do what? We must scatter and tell ourselves the truth. It's also part
Of the discipline.
of our studies. So a chartered accountant will tell you that he's looking at a balance sheet. He's looking at cash flow. He's looking at profit and loss. He's looking at suspense accounts, things that you may not be able to sort out. But he comes as a scientist to put some structure and comes and talks about that balance sheet. Citizen Jones, my chartered now scattered accountant is telling you that the balance sheet that I'm seeing is that Nigeria has been destroyed. Nigeria
perhaps
has
damaged.
been damagedly destroyed.
Wow.
And the topic for your discussion,
Don't you think that's too hard?
I am talking about the balance sheet. You see, a balance sheet is a snapshot at this moment in time. Perhaps it can get better tomorrow. Perhaps it was even worse by now. The snapshot of what I am seeing on this balance sheet is a destroyed nation. Why am I saying destroyed nation? Everybody in economics will tell you that all the indices are indicating we are going southwards. We have the potential, but we have left that potential and decided to go southwards. One of the things I just read in this balance sheet is your topic, and you are saying that, knee-jerk. Accountancy also teaches us that when you begin to see certain signs, you call it knee-jerk, they are telltale signs. Situations that we are saying we know, everybody knows we have a food crisis. And one of the ways out is the customs coming to say they have seized foods and they are going to try and begin to distribute. First question, before Sheson's salient point about the data prints, you cannot want to say you want to do certain things without data to know, okay, who are you going to be giving it to? Are you going to now be doing the Abacha system of money?
Okay, and perhaps the conjecture by the viewer is that customs would have seized food items that could go around.
When? Is it the first time? What about all the food that has been seized over the years, since the last 60 years? Where have they gone to? So, the knee-jerk is the Abacha system whereby money has gone out and then it's coming back in trickles. It came back in trickles and then it's restolen and it's taken off. This is not only dead on arrival, it's too little, it's too late, it's not going to get anywhere. I have seen situations where this same Nigeria country, not nation, please, this same Nigeria country under the force of state, lying onto itself, says that we are going to have IDP camps and we are going to take food from the food silos. Where are those food silos? Past 8 years talked about food silos and that we had rice and we saw pictures only for...
Something close to pyramids, Sheson, you remember?
Yeah, it's a pyramid.
And we suddenly don't have any more. What I thought was I was going to get, that would have made more sense to me, Sidney Jones, is to say that, well, foods that have been seized by the customs, that have been, especially when it comes to foodstuff, have been already certified, has been taken to our food banks. So some people have been sitting on this all this while, and suddenly just to try and assuage
Feelings.
the angst. Go and show us a picture and tell us you are going to begin to distribute. I can tell you, Sidney Jones, it's not a cause. At the stage we are in now, and as elders, we open our dentition clear. If there is nothing in there, there is nothing to hide. Say it exactly as it is. This is not only dead on arrival, it is not going to help. It is an indication like William Butler Yeats in his Second Coming poem about Second Coming, when he says things fall apart. The center is not holding. It's not just the center. In fact, the fabrics of centers are not holding, and the rich are getting to the reality that they are going to be swallowed by the poor. So try and just do anything. Just try and do something.
Yeah.
I am ashamed. I'm sorry, I'm going to mention names here. I'm ashamed that in 2024, in 2024 Nigeria, that has produced the Okonjo-Iweala as example, that has produced Dr. Akim Adesina, that Nigeria is where we are at, talking about customs now releasing food with no clear path, no clear pan. There is confusion in the land. And unless we all accept that there is so much confusion in the land and that we don't have an idea, we better just open our arms and do Professor Akunyili and say that we have failed ourselves and failed our nation.
Thank you, Akin.
Let's look for a better means. We are in trouble.
Sheson, I imagine Akin is reminding you and I that to be a poor man is hard enough, but to be a poor people in a supposed land of plenty is the bottom of hardship. So we are there at the abyss. But is the situation irredeemable?
It is something that we can redeem if we are sincere with ourselves. But I keep telling every individual that our major problem is not what we are faced with, but the insincerity on the path of both the leaders and the followers.
And the led, yeah.
That's the challenge I can see out there. I was reading this more. I read in the dailies where the vice president was coming out to tell us that they saw 32 illegal wherever, and the opponent
smuggling outlets.
Vehicles taking food items out of Nigeria.
I want the situation to remind us that we have what we call free trade zone, in Africa, where what is produced in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I remember when we had issue with the Niger Republic, then before their coup, that we shut our borders. The Nigerians did not complain for it. It is we, the Nigerians, that first complained because of the trade business that occur between us and that neighboring nation. That we are going to cut short transaction of certain set of people. And I can say this, that the issue of this illegal stuff we are talking of in the food is just coming to the food. It's been there for years. It's just like telling us that illegal bunkering. Citizen, I'm not as old as you are, but I'm sure you are hearing those words.
Bunkering is allowed, but you play by the rules.
So which rules make it legal and illegal? So those are areas. So when you talk of certain things, the question that comes to mind is, this is not just happening. There are fundamental problems we have missed that is drawing our attention to say that some people, a friend of mine was telling us that some of the silos that they said people are actually ordering food are normal things that happened to salvage situation before now.
Yeah.
That it's not an arbitrary thing that farmers do that in the time of dry season in such a way that they will harvest, keep, and give out when you have the harvest
On a rainy day.
on a rainy day.
Yeah.
So those are things that are, but because certain fundamentals were actually wrong, we are now looking in the direction that some people are sabotaging the effort. And what are the fundamentals? Insecurity. How many farmers are going to the farm? How much
As
of
we
crop-
speak.
As we speak. There is no day, as of today, I read in the dailies of 7 people kidnapped in Zamfara, few
What
killed.
about Katsina?
Katsina, Kaduna, Southwest, Southeast. We hear about this insecurity and people are not going to farm. When we were growing, they said we don't want to go the route of traditional farming. Let's have mechanized farming. Uncle Borrower scheme. We will give you this, we will give you that. How many of it have we seen being implemented? So when you look at some of those problems, it's just like you are just giving a word for discussion. Because if this topic did not come up, we won't be discussing that.
Yeah.
But are we doing what we are supposed to do?
The topic is easily one of the issues thrown up by the country.
By the country. These food crises are things we can avert if there is security. Sir, if there are, I've seen certain set of people that retired from the cosmopolitan state, like Lagos, back to their village, and the money they have, they've gone to invest in agriculture.
That's it. Mechanized farming.
But how many people want to hear that? When you hear that a man came from overseas, invested in vast land, and was killed, and you could not trace the killer of the person.
That's it.
So
That's
you want to now venture into such, people will ask you, why are you going to commit suicide? So government must address the fundamentals. And the fundamental is simple. Let there be security. Average citizen knows what to do.
Leave the rest to nature.
Leave it. It will definitely take its side.
Aki, can we reconcile what he has said to the fact that the news broke, rather surprisingly, to me, that there are people within our country, my country, your country, who smuggle food items out?
Yes, Citizen Jones, I am not. I'm not because when the Buhari...
You are not traumatized?
I'm traumatized. Well, I'm not surprised.
Okay.
I mean, I saw this coming, and I predicted this was going to happen. Neoliberal economists saw a lot of the things, including exchange security that he's talking about. And let me even add to another point, because when you fail to plan, you have planned to fail. I mean, it's no too much science about that. Even the silos, so let's give and say, okay, there were things that were there. Nigeria, since the Ahidjo's days in Cameroon, agreed on...
And that's 1970s, though.
Agreed on the concept of the Ladgo Dam, that they were going to be releasing water in exchange for our perhaps giving them some
Succor.
Some succor by way of giving them energy that we don't even have in here, and maybe some in the Gulf of Guinea, and up there to begin to look at our security. Citizen Jones, I am not surprised, because when President Muhammadu Buhari, with Emefiele at the center of the seat, decided that we are going to ban some food items because we wanted to protect the local industries. It happened in certain areas of the country. It was business as usual in some other parts of the country. That was also when we had a southern minister. Now please listen to me very carefully. Within that regime that saw nothing, even though there was a lot of hues and cries, that decided that they were going to put up a railway from a place in Katsina to Njamena. And so, the point that Chesson was making, we opened our eyes, we planned to fail. The thing that was helping us without necessarily going to the markets out there was that we were having rainfall. The rain will fall, we'll be able to do harvest, and then it's no more there. Even in the south, agglomeration is a concept whereby people move from, say, the rural areas or some other areas into the center of city. I hear from the grapevine that what is now happening is that people who are getting much more older at the farms are being encouraged by their children in cities that, look, if these people are going to come over there and to come and behead you, please sell off the land. When they sell off this land, they sell it to who? Religious bigots. They come in there and begin to preach prosperity without work. When I said Nigeria was destroyed, it's a thing of the plan of the mind that that Chesson is saying we should look at security. Some people say, look, let's look at ensuring that we have one country. We don't have elite consensus. And because we don't have all that, the only way beyond the prescription that Chesson has given, because what Chesson has done is to say you can't do anything without security, but that's true. What I say, let's go back a few steps to say to ourselves that Nigeria is not a Nigeria that we think is a Nigeria. Nigeria is a nation pretending to itself, being coerced to say that under states and say we have a constitution that can help us. We must all say to your tent, O Israel. We must now come back and sit together on a round table and decide what exactly we want. There's just one example that I will give. When I say there is no elite consensus. Yes, Chesson, we all know there's no security. Okay, we all know that if the Cameroon people now decide that it's their time, they will open the dam and then the whole place will overrun. We know we don't have so many other things we don't have. But there are situations where we are trying to resolve this problem as we are talking about here. And for the life of me, a president, perhaps really confused, any president will be confused under this situation that we are in, got to find his footprint in a part of our country. And naturally, a courtesy.
You know, these footprints are not made sitting down.
They are not made sitting down. This particular one was physical. And somebody went to the emir's place. And the emir said exactly what all of us know, Chesson, me, you, that we have food crisis. Things have just not gone well. Nigeria is going down the road. Fair enough. I said, go back and tell your husband Nigeria is hungry. Okay, fair. I had a problem when I later learned that the emir was speaking to the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and was making it in Hausa. It's a coloration that goes beyond, this is what I know. We are not a nation. We are not a country. We are a country because we are territory. We don't have common values and common mores. And it goes beyond the emir there. I even say that at the level of secondary school, at the level of tertiary institution, we are clearly divided by way of the way we look, our gestalt, that's what sociologists call it, and our worldview to not say collectively, this is what we are going to do. That coloration could never have happened when Buhari was in power. That coloration could never have happened if Buhari came to the south, say to the south-south and to the southeast, and he will be spoken to in Igbo, or he'll be spoken to in Yoruba, he'll be spoken to in some other language. Is the height of the fact that we don't have a consensus. We are not even seeing this problem the way they are saying. Now, the customs thing that is coming out now, some people are already positioning themselves as middlemen to go and take this thing and do not get...
This is not to puncture your argument here. If a message is best sent in your language, so be it.
No, we still don't have a situation where we are taking a consensus that we can be speaking different languages. We have a lingua franca. Till now, we should respect that lingua franca. What normally will be done will be speak it in Hausa, speak it in Yoruba, speak it in Efik, and you yourself interpret. You are making that point. But you know the recipient is not going to understand. And you can have an Ichioku that can come in and begin to distort the message. This is not the way a modern country should run. We are different, like I said. So if it's going to be Hausa you want to be speaking, I want to be speaking my Yoruba, then let's all come together and make sure we restructure this country in such a way and manner that you'll be able to speak whatever language, do whatever religion that you elect to do, and then we bring something good to the center.
Sheson, in crisis times, history tells me that dictators and despots are thrown up. But at the same time, according to late John F. Kennedy, he said, in a crisis time, you need to put on your thinking cap. There must be a way forward at this critical juncture. What do we do?
Thank you very much, Citizen. My suggestion to the government are quite simple. First and foremost, we always reiterate the area of security. Kudos to the Deputy Senate President who sponsored the bill for state policing, even though some people might feel it's not the way to go, but for some of us...
Don't worry, it has passed second reading, so we are almost getting home.
We are almost getting home. If that can be achieved, is a way of resolving our security crisis, because I'll tell every individual there are security votes that goes to the states and unaccounted for.
Yeah,
but with this,
will be better utilized.
With this now, as the chief security officer empowered to protect the people that are there, they will ask the question, how do you go about it? The second aspect of it is, if the government can look the area of power. Sincerely speaking, what is compounding our problem is the non-availability of the power system. It has worsened to the level that there is no preservative stuff. Even if you have to buy, the level at which food increases per hour, it's not per day, it's per hour. Because if you buy food by 9 and you are going by 10, you won't buy the same price. People might say you are exaggerating, but I've seen it happen.
No. In my home, I can say yes, because my wife tells me.
It's not that my wife tells me, I experience it.
Okay.
Because if I price something 8 a.m. on my way to work, and I said, okay, I don't have enough cash, their POS is not working, I will come back by 5 in the evening. And a product of 10,000, 8 a.m. has suddenly jacked up to 15,000 by 5 p.m.
At that point, do you think it is the Nigerian condition or the Nigerian causing that wahala?
People are saying Nigerians causing the wahala, but the manufacturers, maybe because of our knowledge.
No.
Sir, let me tell you, people will tell you that the woman bought the goods maybe for 8,000 to sell 10,000.
At 8 a.m.
At 8 a.m. to sell 10,000.
Okay.
But suddenly increased to 15,000.
Why did it increase?
Because the manufacturer sent a message. They showed it to me that these goods that we are now selling to you, if you are to come and restock, is now 14,000. And what that implies is that I've invested my capital. From the perspective of a business person, I have 100,000. I bought 20 cartons of that thing at 5,000, and I'm selling at 6,000, so that I can increase my profit margin. But now the manufacturer is saying that with the cost of dollar, their next production will be at 8,000. So that thing must go to 10,000.
Akin, you must intervene here, because let me take cement for instance. The things that go to that combine to to bring the cement are found here.
They are found here, no doubt about that. But cost of doing business is high, and one of the reasons why cost of doing business is that even the person that sells akashueba or agbado around You go to him in the morning and you come back, you say everything, dollar don't go up. The mindset is such that there is no trust.
Even
The
when we know the dollar has nothing to do with
The
Gary.
mindset is that there is no there is
Just
no
the dollar has nothing to do with Gary.
It is, but we now import Gary.
there is no confidence.
We now import Gary.
Well, we have jollof rice. Some people are saying we should. Chinese are saying that they are going to help us.
They are already bringing Gary for us.
There is no trust. There is no confidence, and there is no sense of patriotism. I go back to the fact that we need to go back, all sit down, agree to disagree, disagree to agree, and then get into a consensus so that our various people will get to the highest of their potentials. And then, Sheson, the truth of the matter is the dollar that we are talking about is very speculative because nobody trusts the government. We don't even know what exactly is going to happen next. We don't know whether when they are saying good morning, we should all be looking at good night. We also see situations where they say things are hard and things surrounding them are not showing hard. So people have lost trust, people have lost confidence. People have
No wonder they tell you and I that we are between a rock and a hard place.
And a hard place.
So pick one.
So now the one I'll pick is that Nigeria is destroyed. That's
right.
where I started from.
Sheson, the popular saying is the crisis you should be afraid of is the one you don't see coming. Have we gotten to that point?
If we are not there, we are nearing there.
Okay.
Because you can't predict what will happen the next. As both of us are here now, just yesterday, people that came out, because it rained and the truck drivers said they will not load, transport fare of 200 jacked up to 700. I'm sure before going to bed.
Is that dollar?
Eh?
Is that dollar? Cost that one?
But the cost of diesel actually impacted on it.
Cost of doing product.
Cost of production.
What I'm trying to say is that people have lost confidence. We don't even know what next is going
But the only thing that promotes that is
It
dollar.
it doesn't say the Nigerian must be unscrupulous.
It does not say.
It doesn't say.
The times are
It doesn't say, but you see, when the people you are looking up to, you don't have the confidence in them. Like Mr. Akin said, they are telling you that things are hard. I listened to one video where somebody was picking up to say, no, things are not hard on your path because we see you day and night flying private jets and moving around. And we can see that you are looking fresh. So it's not hard on your path. So don't generalize it. So we know the people that the things are actually difficult with. All the government need to do is just to be intentional in making sure that their words is their bank. When I was growing up in the banking sector, they would tell you that your word is like your blood. You truncate your word, it makes you look irrelevant. And that's to buttress what Mr. Akin is saying, that look at it, the trust deficit is not that it's widening, it does not even exist any longer in such a way that when our leaders speak, people just say they've said their own, let's carry on. People will always refer to dollar because that is the only thing they hear every day. Go and look at the major headline of today's paper. For somebody that do not even know the dynamics of things going on, it will tell you that dollar now sell for 1,940 and pounds for 2,250. What other thing? The man does not know anything about cost of
You think you are
production.
watching a crazy film?
So by tomorrow you are expecting. So you're already envisaging what it will be.
Gentlemen, we must end the debate here, but let the debate continue wherever you might be. We've been looking at food crisis. The Nigeria Customs Service says it is distributing food items nationwide. That for us is a knee-jerk intervention. What do you say? According to the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, that which does not kill us makes us stronger, right?
Yes, it makes us stronger. A few things that are happening in Niger State. The governor, they are taking tractors in your state.
We are ending the show.
So it is possible for us to retrieve, but do we have the mind and the strength to? That is the question.
All right, that's the question. To be or not to be, if we quote Shakespeare here, that's the question. I'm out of here, but on behalf of the Backroom Boys and my guest, Sheson Okunade, many thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. For
Akin Fatunke.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
I'm out of here. See you next time. Bye-bye now.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.